Getting him prepped. David's gonna be our critical reviewer of the new Space Jam. Right, David? Alright, that's a bet. Okay, alright, that's a bet. I appreciate your contributions to this review. We'll talk to you guys soon. Alright, we starting the second one, y'all. We got enough scenes for David so he can get an understanding of the world. David, you ready? Oh, that's LeBron. When he was a kid.
Good luck out there today.
I think. Alright, we'll see how this goes, y'all. We'll let you know. Alright, we just finished it. Dave, what you think? What you think? That's what he thought. Yo, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Leggett here representing Team JVS. So, as you saw, the few clips from me, my son, our family was looking at Space Jam today, okay? This is going to be my brief, and I mean very brief review of Space Jam. I thought about, going on and editing and doing all that, but I was like, no, it's easier just taking for face value. This is not my movie. This is for, a movie for like my sons. And so, I wanted to get my son acclimated for my 2-year-old. I'm acclimated for the original. Just let him look at it. He liked it because he loved the music. Like we play, especially when he goes and wants to play basketball, we played some of the Space Jam soundtrack. Some of the soundtrack was amazing. He already loved. And so then seeing like Bugs Bunny interacting with Michael Jordan and seeing Michael Jordan, like just small moments, like whether it's like Michael Jordan, like going down and getting his clothes and playing basketball, or whether it was like the Toon Squad kind of working together and just the funny banter, the back and forth of these animated cartoons working with this full-on superstar. I kind of was like, yeah, it's cheesy, it's corny, but it's also a classic in and of its own right. And they found a way of bridging the gap where the only thing I can think comparable would be like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit in terms of like the connective tissue between animation and live action. And on top of that, they also used the other NBA players in a very fundamental, funny, interesting way. So it wasn't all focused on Michael Jordan. This film, okay, unfortunately doesn't have good music at all. It's got some decent songs, but it's nowhere near as iconic and epic as the soundtrack or even the score of the original one. It just kind of was like, no. What it does have going for it is visually. The visual immersion of a lot of the scope is pretty beautiful, pretty insane, pretty all over the place and splashy and inventive and, eye-catching for kids. I mean, from a box office standpoint, I think that people are just going to be engaged just because this is, Space Jam. But, kids might be all enthralled into this. I mean, it's a lot of moments happening. In addition, another positive, which also to me is a negative because I'll bring up why in a second, is there's a lot of Warner Brothers material here. Like, if you looked at Ready Player One, you saw all the stuff. No, Warner Bros. Said, no, hold my beer. I'm going to show you all of our catalog. This is our our indeliberate, or maybe deliberate, commercialization of HBO Max. And everything we've got here from, the Hannah Banana boomerangs to everything from Harry Potter to Batman to, heck, Brett, there's even a Cartoon Network, like best Cartoon Network show right now even made an appearance. I'm not even gonna say what it is. It's a good little Easter egg. I was really surprised that they were able to put in there. I think that's definitely really interesting and engaging, but they focused on a lot of product placement all over from Warner Bros. Standpoint. And this is where this is a negative to me. So the movie, people have been saying, well, this is for, the youth and stuff like that. This is for people nowadays. But when you got Casablanca, you got the old original, like Superman, animated series. Who are you playing that towards? To me, the people that are in the 30s and their 40s that remember those cartoons, remember those movies. I mean, even like some of the other things I don't want to say. The Matrix. I mean, everybody knows the Matrix, but I'm just saying the Matrix does play a very interesting part in this movie. And that's not for a person that's like 2 years old or a person that's like 10 years old. I mean, they might have never seen the Matrix. So what was the point of putting that in there if, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you cannot simultaneously make something that also is pleasing to somebody that is older and, a little bit younger, then I'm not sure if you're doing your job. So for me, with this, it was very corny, it was really cheesy, and not in a very thrilling way. Most of the comedic moments, especially the first act, do not land. A lot of the family emotive moments in the beginning don't work. Towards the third act, a little bit. I was feeling a little bit. I mean, I don't know if that's more so from an acting standpoint. They have some. I mean, Don Cheadle's up in this movie. I mean, it's crazy. But I'm saying that as far as LeBron James, the movie kind of centers around, him and his emotion and his emotive stance on what's going on. It just really almost seems a lot about him, as opposed to kind of with the first one. It was like, yeah, we all knew the tragedy that befall, Michael Jordan's father and the reason why he started being a baseball player. But they didn't harp it on that. It was more so like everybody around him, they kind of focused on more so than anything, like the basketball players or Stan or Bill Murray's random character talking with Larry Bird or even the Monstars or the person that was leading the Monstars. That was the central focus. With this, you have computer-generated characters, and I don't want to spoil any of it, but they do have some connection with basketball players today, but it's nowhere near the same, and the focus is driven way too differently, and the movie is just really way too long. I kind of was I think it was like the hour mark, and I was like, I got 55 more minutes to go. And I was looking at my wife, Alicia, I was like, I don't know about this, bruh. And again, I just don't think that for all the IPs that they put in this, they should have had a better soundtrack. For this to be the sequel to Space Jam, they didn't have to reinvent the wheel and add in a multi-dimensional situation. They really could just, from that pivot point, move forward. And also, there was a very disappointing thing that kind of happened. It was funny, kind of, but it was also a disappointing thing towards the third act that I was like, y'all better off not even have said that or even played with that idea, because people's expectations and perceptions are already there. So for me, I mean, visually it looks great. Not a lot of basketball. I mean, this is if you remember NBA Street or NBA Jam, the new NBA Jam with the weird stuff that's happening, dunk contest stuff. That's a lot of that, but it's not like, I don't know. It's different, bro. It's really different. It just didn't. It wasn't my cup of tea. I am happy my son went and watched the whole entire thing. I mean, he was all over the place, but he watched it. But as you can see from his reaction, it wasn't something that he was just like, his eyes to catch. I remember when my son was like wanting some change, he looked at Into the Spider-Verse, and that ended up becoming his favorite character, period. And for, him, a young child, like, I mean, definitely he loves kind of playing with basketball and balls and stuff like that. This could have been a really good opportunity if they had a really good upbeat soundtrack, kept him engaged, if there were some interesting moments that kind of, position him to be like, oh, okay, cool. And I think functionally they just don't, if you're going to have like kids in this movie, you utilize that. Like, don't let the central focus be just to the family, but no, like have you talk about who these kids' friends are. What do they really love? What do they really like outside just the small minimalistic things? One of the things that there's a show, Infinity Train, the very opening of it that hits home so much is that you have this impression that, yes, the main character, is having some really troubles at home, but then she's got a best friend that kind of is like intrigued and interested to see what's really wrong with her friend. And there's not any of that connection outside of small moments. And I think that whereas with the first Space Jam, like people, yeah, were looking for Mike, but he also had some people kind of like with their own backdrops, and all the backdrops for this just don't land. I don't know that Don Cheadle worked. I think he was definitely all immersed into it, but yeah, I think it just kind of fell flat for me. Let me know what you guys think about Space Jam. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the small little reactions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this more lengthy review than I thought. As far as the review number, I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5 out of 10. It just, if the soundtrack was good, I would have given it probably a 6. If I was excited about what was happening on screen, I maybe give it more, but that's just not what happened. I'll talk to you guys soon. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.